We have seen the gray code in the last class. So let us very quickly look at the method to convert from binary to gray code and from gray code to binary code. After that, we will move to error detecting and correcting codes. So the first conversion that we will look at is given a binary code word, you want to convert that into a gray code word. Okay. So for that, we define something called as modulo 2 sum as follows. 0 modulo sum 0 is 0. 0 modulo sum 1 is 1. 1 modulo sum 0 is 1. 1 modulo sum 1 is 0. Okay, that is how we are going to define this modulo 2 sum, very much like your XOR. So let us say you have a n plus 1 bit gray code word with bits from G0 to Gm. The corresponding binary code word is from D0 to Dm. Okay. So now what do you want to do? You want to convert from binary to gray. So the rule for that is Gn is equal to Dm. Okay. So the MSD for the gray code will be same as that of the binary code word. For other bits, Gi is equal to Di modulo 2 sum Di plus 1. Okay, so that is the rule. So basically what we are saying is MSB remains same and other digits are obtained from the modulo 2 sum. Okay, so let us take an example. Let us take a 6-bit binary code. So B5, B4, B3, B2, B1, B0, 1, 0, 1, 1, 0, 1. This is your binary code word. You want to convert that into gray code. So what are your gray code numbers? The MSB is going to remain the same, right? So therefore, let us write this. This is your MSB. So MSB is going to remain the same for gray code. This is your G5. Other bits are obtained from modulo 2 sum. So let us do modulo 2 sum of these two. 1 and 0. Modulo 2 sum of 1 and 0 is 1, right? So this gives you 1. Okay, G4. Similarly, you do modulo sum for other bits also. 0 and 1 modulo 2 sum is 1. 1 1 modulo 2 sum is 0. 1 0 modulo 2 sum is 1. 0 1 modulo 2 sum is 1. Okay, so you got your gray code with G3, G3, G1, G0. Okay, so the conversion is very easy. Given a binary code, you can convert that to gray code in this method. Okay, let us look at the other way. If gray code is given, how do you convert back to binary code? So the rule is you start from the leftmost digit and proceed to the least significant digit by setting Di is equal to Gi if the number of ones preceding Gi is even. Okay, setting Di is equal to Gi complement if the number of ones preceding Gi is odd. Okay, so let us take our previous example. Previously we got gray code as 1 1 1 0 1 1, right? Okay, 1 1 1 0 1 1. G5, G4, G3, G2, G1, G0. So you want to convert this to binary. Start from leftmost digit and proceed to the least digit by setting Di is equal to Gi if number of ones preceding Gi is even. So let us do this. Number of ones preceding this, of course, this is the starting bit. So 0 preceding bit. So obviously we will directly have this number, same bit 1. Then let us count for the next bit, how many ones are there preceding this? 1. Only one is there. This is an odd number. So if you have odd number of ones preceding GI, that particular bit will be complemented, right? So complement of G4 will have to be taken, which is going to give you 0. Hello? Let us look at the next one. So this is over. This is over. Next one is 1. Number of ones preceding this are 2, which is an even number. If you have even number of ones preceding GI, BI will be same as GI. So you have even number. So this is going to be the same bit 1. So this is also over. Next, let us go to the next bit. How many ones are preceding this bit? 1, 2, 3. It is an odd number. If you have odd number of 1, this bit has to be complemented. So complement of 0 is 1. Okay. Next, how many ones are there preceding this G1? 3 ones. It is an odd number. When you have an odd number, you have to complement it. So what is the complement of 1? 0. Okay. Let us move to the last bit, G0. How many ones are there? 1, 2, 3, 4. 4 is an even number. So B0 will be same as G0. So B0 is 1. Okay. B5, B4, B3, B2, B1, B0. So you have converted it. Let us, if you got the right answer, 1, 0, 1, 1, 0, 1. Right? That's the same thing. 1, 0, 1, 1, 0, 1. Okay. You can take one more example. Okay. So let us take take 1, 0, 0, 1, 0, 1, 1. Okay. So how many ones are there? This is same 0, 1. So B5 will be same as B5. But G4, number of preceding ones is odd number. So you have to complement that. Okay. So this is over. This is over. Then how many ones are there preceding G3? 1. Odd number. So complement. How many ones are there preceding G2? 1 odd number. So complement. How many ones are there preceding G2? 2 ones are there. It is an even number. So same bit will come G0. How many ones are there preceding G1? 2 ones are there. It is an even number. So same bit will come G1. How many ones are there preceding G0? 1, 2, 3. Odd number. So you have to complement. Okay. So that is how you can convert from gray to binary. The procedure is very simple. All right. So now we will look at what are called as error detecting and error correcting code. So we will start with error detection in this lecture, and in the next lecture we will look at error correcting code. Okay. So errors in data. An error in a digital system is the corruption of data from its correct value to some other value, which is very easy to see. Now, in general, we know that data is either transmitted or stored, right? So with time, the stored data can get changed or corrupted. That means there can be errors occurring in the stored data also with time. And also during transmission through a communication channel, there can be error. You transmit something and you receive something else due to the errors in the communication channel. So these errors are occurred. These errors occur because of what you call as physical failure. Okay. So failures can either be temporary or permanent. For example, a cosmic ray or an alpha particle can cause a temporary failure of a memory circuit. So we know memory circuits store data, and cosmic rays or alpha particles can cause a temporary failure of the circuit, changing the value of the bit that is stored in it. So this is an example for temporary physical failure. On the other hand, it can sometimes happen that your circuit becomes too hot, or your circuit may come in contact with a significant amount of static charge. So in such cases, it can completely fail. Okay? And so that results in a permanent failure, and obviously you will have permanent error in the data. Okay. So the effect of failures on data are predicted by the so-called error model. Okay? There are various types of error models. What we are going to look in this course is the independent error model. Okay. What is this model? In this model, a single physical failure is assumed to affect only a single bit of data. Okay. So what you're saying is your data will be assumed to contain at most one single error. Okay. It is the simplest of the error model. Of course, in practice, we know that multiple errors can occur in the data, but we can also see that the likelihood of having multiple errors occurring is less than that of a single error occurring, right? So what this independent error model assumes is that only a single error is there at most, okay? And multiple errors are not there. That is our assumption in this model. This is of course a very simplified model, a simple model. Let us try and understand the error detection in a little bit more detail. We know the BCD code, right? 0 to 9 are your decimal digits, and you have 4-bit code for your BCD, right? 0000 to 1001 are these 10 code words, and there are 6 code words which are invalid. So you are going to use a 4-bit code with these 10 code words. Here, the occurrence of an error in one of its bits may result in another incorrect but valid code word. Suppose you transmit 5, okay, so 0101, and at the receiving end, suppose you receive 1101. Okay, so basically what happened is this bit became corrupt, and you received 1101. Okay, so we immediately know that there is an error because this is an invalid code word. Okay. On the other hand, suppose you receive this code word 0111. Okay, so error has occurred in this bit, and you received 0111. Now, can you tell whether you have received the correct code word that has been transmitted or not? You cannot tell, right? Because what you have received is also a valid code word 7, right? Therefore, the occurrence of an error in one of the bits may result in another incorrect. This is incorrect because you have transmitted 5, but valid code word. Okay, and therefore your BCD code cannot detect error. Okay, so this is one more example here. Error in the LSB of 0111 can result in an incorrect code word 0110. Right, error here is resulting in a 0 instead of 1, which is still a valid code word. Right, this is 6. So the receiver perceives it to be the correct code word. Okay. So this is an example of a code which is not an error detecting code. An error detecting code has the property that corrupting a code word will produce an invalid code word. Okay. So basically what happens is in this particular code, if any code word gets corrupted, that should result in an invalid code word in the receiver. Okay, so immediately you will know that okay, so the data is corrupt. The code word I received is error. There is an error in the code word I received. You should be able to do that. Okay, if a code possesses the property that the occurrence of any single error transforms a valid code into an invalid code word, it is said to be a single error detecting code. If you have code that can transform or detect 2 errors, then they are double error detecting code. 3 errors, 3 error detecting code, and so on. Multiple error detecting code. Okay, but we are focusing on single error detecting code here. We define something called as distance between code words. Okay, so what is distance? The distance between two n-bit strings, that means your n-bit code word in this particular case. We are talking about detecting code. So the distance between two code words is the number of bit positions in which they differ. Okay, so that is your definition for distance. For example, the distance between 0110 and 1010 is 2. Right? Look at the number of bit positions in which these two code words are different. This bit position is having different bits, so they are different. And this bit position also, here also they are different, right? 1 here and 0 here. Other two bit positions, no different. So the distance between these two code words is 2. Okay. Here is one more example. What is the distance between 1001 and 1100? There is no difference. Okay, so there's a difference here in this bit, 0 and 1. 0 and 0, no difference. 1 and 0. So there's a difference in this bit. So the distance between 1001 and 1100 is, okay, I made a mistake here. Okay. You can take other examples also, like 0, 1, 0, 0, and 1, 0, 1, 1. What is the distance between these two code words? You will see that this bit is different, this bit is different, this bit is different, this bit is also different. So the distance between these two is 4. Okay, like that. So that is the definition of distance. Now this is the most important one. A code detects all single errors if and only if the minimum distance between all possible pairs of code words is 2. Okay. At least the distance between the distance should be 2 between any pair of code words. If you write a code like that, that code will be able to detect a single error. Okay, which is easy to understand, right? If the distance is only 1, then if only one bit is changing, you will end up with another valid code word. Even if when there is an error, you will end up with another valid code word if the distance is only 1. If the distance is 2, then you will have an invalid code word, like here. So here, let's look at these two. If there is an error here, you will see that, and the in between code word is invalid. You will see that an error here will result in an invalid code word. One single error will result in an invalid code word. Okay, so we will take some examples, maybe that will make it more clear. Let us start with a code here. This is a code with 5 code words. Okay, I am representing them using a cube here. Okay, so this is a 3-bit code. Each code word is of 3 bits. I am drawing a cube here. This is an example of what are called as n cubes. So this is a 3 cube. So what I'm doing here, each vertex here is representing one code word, and the distance between any two adjacent code words is 1. You can check this 00001, the distance is 1. 011111, the distance is 1. Right? 111101, the distance is 1, and so on. Okay, so these kind of cubes are called as n cubes. So what is my code? My code is having 5 code words: 000, 011, 101, 110 and 111. This is my code. Okay, I have defined my code like this arbitrarily. Just an example to make you understand the concept here. And these are valid code words. There are other code words possible with 3 bits, which are I am declaring them as invalid code words. So these are 001, 010, and 100. These three are invalid. Okay. Now, what is going to happen? Let us consider the code word 111. It is immediately adjacent to 011, 110, and 101, right? That is how you have joined the edges here. So, if you get a single error here in this code word, okay, that means let us say the error is in the MSB, then you will receive 011. If the error is in the LSB, you will receive 110, right? If the error is in the middle bit, then you will receive 101. Okay. So basically, you are getting an error, but you are receiving valid code word, right? Therefore, this code cannot be used as a error detecting code. What is the reason? The reason is the distance between any two pairs is not 2. Okay, here the distance is 1, right? All these 3 pairs, the distance is 1, and so you are not able to detect one error. You need to have at least a distance of 2. So what am I going to do? Let us look at another code. Okay, so what I did here I have said that this 111 is also invalid. So my new code is only having 4 code words: 000, 00, sorry, 011, 101, 110. Okay, only 4 are valid code words. Rest of the 4 are invalid code words. So you had 2 or 3 code words. Half of them are valid and half of them are invalid here. What is the distance between any two code words? You can easily check. Sorry, you can easily check here. 0000011. Obviously, these are not adjacent, and so the distance is more than 1. 101 and 1011. These are also not adjacent, so the distance is more than 1. 110 and 011. Again, they are not adjacent. The distance is more than 1. Similarly, for other all combinations, you can check, and the distance is clearly more than 1. Okay, so that means it is 2. Here the distance is 2 between these two. Between these two also the distance is 2. Between these two, the distance is again 2, and so on. Okay, so the distance here is at least 2. Let me read through this. If we now set 111 also to be a non-code word, then it can be easily seen that the code will be single error detecting. Okay, so now because the distance is 2, any single error occurring in any of these code words will result in an invalid code word. Okay, because the ones that are at a distance of 1 from any of these code words are declared to be invalid. So if an error occurs here, let us say 101, and an error occurs in the middle bit here. So what are you going to transmit? 111. Okay, and this is an invalid code word. Now, no single error can change one code word to another code word, another valid code word. Okay, change one code word to another valid code word. So when you have 4 code words with 3 bits, that means half of the possible code, you are able to get a single error detecting code. Okay, so this is a 4 cube, right? 4 bits are there. It looks a little clumsy, but you can see the distance between any two adjacent vertices. The distance between them is 1. Okay, you can check here. This cube is easy to see. 0, 1, 1, 0. The adjacent code words are 0, 0, 1, 0. So only 1 bit difference. Here also 0111, only 1 bit difference. Here also 0100, only 1 bit difference. Okay, I can check with the other part, other half also. 0110, the adjacent one is 1110. Here also only 1 bit is changing. So the distance is 1. Okay, so how many code words are there here? All of them are full. So in this particular code, there are 16 code words. Okay. Will this be a error detecting code? Obviously, it will not be error detecting code, right? Because each of the valid code word is at a distance of 1 from its adjacent one. So therefore, any single error cannot be detected. It will result in another valid code word. Right? Let us say you have 100 and you receive, and there's a one bit error, so you receive, let us say, 1010. Okay, so that is also a valid code word. You will not be able to detect errors like this. What you have to do? You have to make some of them invalid. Okay, so only some of them can be used. The minimum distance has to be 2, and therefore half of them have to be made invalid. So here, what I am doing is I am making these 8 code words as invalid code words. Others are valid code words. Now the distance is 2. Now the distance between any two of these code words is 2. Suppose I transmit 0011. Okay, I have some error at the receiving end, and I receive, and there was one single error. Okay, so let us say I received 1011. Okay, so there was error here, and I received 1011. You look at this, 1011 is invalid. Okay, if you look at this one, 0011 is at a distance of 1, right? These were adjacent code words. So when you have a distance of 2 in your new code, this adjacent one is taken as invalid code word, and so therefore you will immediately say that there is an error. You can detect that. Okay. So in general, to obtain an n-bit error detecting code, no more than half of the 2 power n combinations of digits can be used. Okay. So here you had 16, out of which 8 you have declared invalid. So 8 code words out of 4 bit code out of 16. Right, 2 power 4, half of it. Okay. Of course, you can eliminate even a few more code words and say I have only a 5 code words code of 4 bits. Okay. At least, I mean, at most you can use 8 per 4 bits. So that is half. Okay. So basically, no more than half of 2 power n combinations of digits can be used to get a error detecting code, single error detecting code. Here it is 8 code words and 4 bits, so that is fine. So now we started with BCD example. BCD was using how many bits? 4 bits. And how many code words? 10 code words, right? And therefore, you cannot use BCD as error detecting code. So if you want error detecting code for BCD, at least you need 5 bits, right? Why? Because 2 power 5 is 32. So with 32 code words, you can select at least, I mean, you can select up to 16 code words for your new code and use them. So 10 code words can easily be selected, and you can get a error detecting code. So at least 5 bits are required for obtaining an error detecting code for your decimal digit. The code words are chosen in such a manner that in order to change one valid code word into another valid code word, at least 2 digits must be complemented. Okay, so you have to ensure when you're choosing 8 out of this 16, you have to make sure that the distance between 2 code words is at least 2, right? I mean, I cannot choose these 8. I cannot choose these 8 and say this is an error detecting code. Okay, I have to choose only those code words with distance 2. Okay, so at least 2 digits must be complemented. Okay, it should be obvious. If only 1 digit is complemented and an error occurs in that digit, you will not need to detect it. All right. So let us take some examples here. I'm showing two examples of error detecting codes. One is even parity BCD, another is 2 out of 5 code. Okay, so these are the two examples we will be looking at. Okay. So how is the error detection accomplished in this code? Error detection in the examples shown is accomplished by what is called as a parity check. Okay. So what is the basic idea? The basic idea in parity check is to add an extra digit to each code word of a given code so as to make the number of ones in each code word either even or odd. Okay. So what you are doing here is you are adding extra digits. See, if you look at this normal BCD is 8421 code, right? 0000, 0001, 0010, and so on. This is your normal. If you look at these 4 bits, this is nothing but your normal BCD. To that, you are adding a parity bit. Okay? So you are making it a 5-bit code. And what are you doing? You are adding this parity bit. The value of that parity bit is such that you are having an even parity. Okay, so that means the total number of ones should be even number. Okay, so here for 0000 there are no ones, so therefore your parity bit is 0. Let us take one more. 0101 is your 5. Here also the number of ones is even number, right? 2. So your parity bit is 0. On the other hand, if you take 2, okay, look at the code for 2. Normal BCD code has 0010 for 2, right? So the number of ones is an odd number, 1. So you have to add a parity bit such that the parity becomes even. So parity bit has to be 1. Now how many ones are there in the total code? Total code has 2 ones, which is an even parity. You can check for others also. Let us look at 7. How many ones are there? 3 ones. So it's an odd number of 1. And therefore your parity bit will be 1, so that your total code will now have even parity. Okay, 4 ones are there, it is an even number. Like that. So now once you add this extra bit, you will be able to detect an error. Okay, you will see this. Okay, in the examples here we have used even parity. Check this 2 out of 5 code. In this code also you see only 2 out of 5. This is also 5-bit code, and only 2 out of these 5 bits are 1. So clearly this is an even parity. Okay, 2 ones here, 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 and so on. Okay, so these two are even parity. And there can be odd parity examples also. I'm just showing even parity here. So the even parity BCD code, as I said, it is easily obtained from the BCD code. All you need to do is add a parity bit, maintaining even parity. The 2 out of 5 code consists of all 10 possible combinations of 2 ones in a 5-bit code word. Okay, that is also easy to understand. With the exception of code word for decimal 0, the 2 out of 5 code is a weighted code. Okay, so this is a weighted code. The weights are given here 0, 1, 2, 4, 7. Okay, so except for this one, all the other bits are obtained from the weight assigned here. So this is a, in that sense, this is a exactly not a perfect weighted code. If you remove the exception, it's a weighted code. Now, both of them are having even parity. If a single error occurs, it transforms the valid code into an invalid one, thus making the detection of the error straightforward. Okay, so how does this happen? Let us see. Your code word for 3 is 00110, right? Now let us say a single error has occurred in one of these bits. So what is happening then? I will get, let us say the error has occurred in this bit. So what am I getting? 01110. Okay. So what are you telling? Now this is what you receive. Your parity bit is 0, indicating that you should get even number of 1, but you are getting 3 1, right? Therefore, there is an error, right? Now, where is the error? That we don't know. I mean, it is possible that maybe you're having 3 1 and the error is actually in the parity bit. Okay, so maybe the original number was actually 0 1 1 1, or one of these ones is a 0, and you're getting even parity for parity bit to be 0. So what exactly is the error, we do not know, but clearly the error is there. That part we are able to easily see, because all we need to do is count the number of ones and check if the parity is getting satisfied. Of course, if you are getting two errors, so for example, if you have two errors here and I receive 0, 0, 1, 1, 1. Okay, so sorry, two errors, right? I have only one error here. Okay, so I received this. So I transmitted 0, 0, 1, 1, 0. There were two errors and I got 0, 1, 1, 1, 1. Now what is happening? The number of ones is 4 and the parity bit is 1, indicating that there has to be a odd number of bits here. Okay, odd number of ones here, which is fine. Okay, so therefore, if you are having two errors, and also this is a valid code word. Look at this, 0, 1, 1, 1. Okay, so you are not able to detect two errors, but you will be able to detect, as long as there is one error, you will be able to detect it. So these are all single error detecting codes. Although parity check is intended for only the detection of single errors, it in fact detects any odd number of errors. Okay, and maybe some even number of errors also, but it in fact detects any odd number of errors, which is easy to see. If you have odd number of errors, then the parity will remain the same, right? And so you can detect that parity, that error. So suppose you transmit 0, 0, 0, 0, 0. Okay, and there are odd number of errors. Let us say there are 3 errors: 0, 1, 1, 1, 0. Okay, so obviously you have an odd parity with a parity bit of 0. Parity bit of 0 indicates that it should be even parity if there is no error, but you are getting a 3 1, an odd number. So clearly there is an error. Okay, you can detect it. In that way, you can detect 1 or 3 or 5. Okay, any odd number of errors can be detected by this kind of method. Okay, so for example, if the code word 10100 is received in an even parity BCD message, okay, so you are receiving this 10100. What is the issue? How many ones are there? 2 ones are there. Okay, and the parity bit is 0, so there is no issue with the parity. So parity is satisfied. But this is an invalid code word, right? You look at this code word is not there anywhere. So clearly you can detect an error in that particular case when you get a what do you say, an error with, sorry, a word with invalid code word. I mean a message with invalid code word. Okay. As I said, we cannot, however, determine the original transmitted word. So how are you getting this? What is the original transmitted word? That you cannot obtain from these kind of error detecting codes. For that, you need what are called as error correcting code. That we will see in the next class. So we can stop here. Thank you.